Hey everyone, welcome to Meaning Making Games. I'm Nathaniel, and we're going to talk about something a little bit controversial today. So we're going to actually hit on compete sports being banned by LSS, their gem account being banned by LSS. We're not going to focus on what led up to that. I think there's been enough documented on that. Actually, what we're going to focus on is kind of the actions of LSS or reaction of LSS and how they handle that situation. So my whole issue actually with the handling of that situation is this. Compete Sports is one of the first adopters of FAB in the United States. That's pretty well documented. We all kind of know that. LSS, instead of trying to open a dialogue or even give a warning, had some random ops person email him and say, your gem account is being closed because of slander, essentially. LSS is a private company. They can choose who they want to deal with, right? They can choose that. They can say, hey, you can run events, you can't. That's completely up to them. I'm not making that argument. What I am here to kind of argue is that from a United States player's perspective, this feels sort of a slap in the face. I've seen lots of videos from different content creators. There's only like one that I've seen that is United States based, and they're so far north it might as well be Canada. But what I'm seeing in this is basically them saying, hey, we don't respect you as an LGS to even have an open dialogue about some of the things you've said. There wasn't any specific rules broken. I've heard cited other times gem accounts have been removed because of selling of promos and things like that. None of that happened. There wasn't laws broken. There wasn't rules broken. They can decide if they want to. Slander is a real thing. I think we've seen that. We just watched the whole trial, the Johnny Depp defamation trial, and all of that. Like, that is a real deal, right? What actually bothers me about this situation is I come from a consultancy background in the tech world. I've been a consultant. I design some stuff and do all that. Sometimes you have to fire clients, and it's essentially what they're doing, right? They're firing Compete Sports. We're firing you from our gem program. You know who gets on that call? It's the partner on that account gets on that call. It's kind of like the highest level person on there. In this case, Alan is head of ops. James White is obviously the CEO. It's one of those guys gets on the phone with the client and says, hey, we've had this problem, XYZ, we are going to have to do that. I've seen an argument of like, hey, they don't have a contract, blah, 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 they don't need to do that. You're right, but they are a small indie company, and this is the treatment that one of the early adopters gets treated as. So why would I, if I was an LGS and I was on the fence about, do I want to bring in FAB, do I not want to, that sort of thing. If I see this and I see this is how you treat one of the earliest adopters, why would I want to get involved with your business? I wouldn't want to try to get events or this or that, especially if I have any sort of social media presence. If I run a podcast or this or that, I would not want to get involved with you in that. I've seen arguments of like, hey, you can say whatever you want as a content creator, like they're not going to ban you, look at Rudy, look at this, all that. I think that kind of shows that there's a double standard there, because Rudy has a lot of money, Compete Sports, who cares? There's just another store drop in the bucket. I think that's kind of a double standard in there. So that's kind of it, just kind of looking at the situation. I'm more of irked by it. I know a lot of people say there's two sides of it. we've obviously heard one side of it, but the fact that LSS they don't owe us an explanation. Let's face it, they don't. But they also, I feel like they need a PRT, because this is not a good look on any standard level. But just a quick couple thoughts I wanted to get out there. I don't need a whole 45-minute video to express all of that. I appreciate the people who have commented on both sides, and so it's one of those, like, this is the outcome, period. But I just would like to see LSS do better, and I would like to see James White step up as a CEO and actually express some of that. That to me just seems like poor leadership of saying, hey, we want to get rid of this, go get rid of that. He just spent 4 hours with Fluke and Box at an event. But he can't pick up the phone to do a 10-minute conversation with an early adopter of the game. I just see a little discrepancy there. But someone, I always see people say, show me with your actions and not with your words. And I think things aren't quite lining up with what LSS is saying as their kind of mantra and stuff, and what they're doing. So that's all I have. I don't think that there's really anything else to say. I'm open to dialogue. You can go ahead and comment on here. Tell me how much you disagree with it. That's fine. We can disagree on this. I still love you as a person. We're still going to be kind to each other. I always say at the end of the video, be good to yourself and be good to each other. I feel no ill will to you. Just don't be rude. I've had people on Facebook and Twitter and this or that. Some of them have been constructive ones. Other ones, if you're watching this, you know who you are, have been actually rude and like very rude and out there. That's kind of like, hey, these are all people involved in this and we all have different opinions. And that's okay. I just wish that people wouldn't just like jump and be like, people have just been incredibly rude about this instead of kind of opening the dialogue. We're not here to silence people. And it kind of feels like at times LSS might be. And I'm going to get roasted for that comment. But that's what it feels like. But we know no one's going to get silenced. They're just out of the GEM program. Have a good day. I wish that this wasn't a conversation. I wish our conversation now was about how great the meta was about the Stubbies ban, and that's all that we had to talk about. But I'm kind of just seeing in this, and the more I see of LSS handling these situations, quote unquote, publicly, because when you ban someone, that's public knowledge. They need to have a PR team in place ASAP right now. Have a good day. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other.